All right, it's Double Feature Thursday. We got two 1v1s here for you guys. Today, right now, right here, we got GHORST, Master of the Dirty Underwear. So let's take a look at our army here before we jump into this battle. I'm actually going to pause it here so we kind of really get a chance to focus on everything. Now, we're going to have two fights here, guys, so stay tuned. This one's a little bit shorter of a one, so right after this, we're going to jump into another one with Norsca and Throg. So you'll see this battle first, then right after it, we will be playing our second one. So let's take a look at who we have. So we have GHORST, right? Not a very popular pick, but I gotta say he can actually do some damage if you know how to use him. So where is that ability? The Reliquary of Corruption is basically like a discount version of the Mortis engine here. Does some additional damage for you. Just does some damage all around. Now he does have the lore of vampire, so he has Invocation to Heck. He has Awaken from the Grave, which is really probably the best thing about GHORST is his ability to summon Graveguard. Now, when you are up against an opponent, nothing is more deadly than being able to get a unit of Graveguard in the backline because, they are AP, they are anti-infantry, so you can get such a really great solid return out of these guys. I'm a huge fan of Awaken from the Grave. It took me a lot of convincing to do this, but I decided to really go through with this GHORST build, and it worked out wonders. So let's take a look at the rest of our army here. We have a really nice front line of Graveguard. We've got Lizardmen here. Lizardmen are the Regiment of Renown Graveguard here. They do, of course, have their what the hell is this thing called? Anti-infantry, but the big thing for them is, there it is, regeneration. Now, these guys do regenerate. That is the big kind of crux of being a Regiment of Renown using of Graveguard. So these guys can stay in the fight even longer. I mean, you do have Mortis Engine and Invocation to Heck really helping to bolster them, but they can hold out on their own, which is a very nice little bonus here. Now, of course, we also have Graveguard with great weapons here, getting that AP into there, getting that anti-infantry bonus into there, always huge. Now, we went with, and we're up against Greenskins. I haven't shown you guys that, but it is Greenskins over there. Now, we also went with two Varghulfs. Now, these guys are not very often seen in the meta, and I really wish I could press slow-mo. Let's press slow-mo, whatever. We'll look at the bats later. But they are pretty beastly. They're very, very fast. They have 80 speed. If you guys remember talking about the Illyrian Reavers, the Illyrian Reavers have 90 speed. So these guys are very fast. And so they're able to really chase down a lot of units hard, heavy, and fast. So you have a lot of really great value with those guys because they're going to be able to cause terror. They're going to do AP, so you can use them to smash apart Black Orcs, use them to attack any kind of large creatures, cavalry, anything like that if you want to, against the Greenskins. Now, we do also have a Banshee, AP, Ethereal. Not a lot of units in the Greenskin roster are going to be able to actually do damage to that Banshee, so she can tank against a lot of units. The Necromancer here is strictly a Raise Dead and Forbidden Rod, so he's basically a Winds of Magic battery for our army. So basically that Necromancer there is just kind of solidified that. Also, in the off chance that we do lose GHORST, the Necromancer kind of helps the line from disintegrating so fast. Now we are reinforcing the backline here with two units of Spearmen. We have the lovely, as always, Claw of Nagash. You can't ever go wrong with this bad boy. One of the best models in the army here. Just so beautiful. Gets so many bonuses. Needs to be in combat, though. You need to be in combat for that and GHORST ability, so you have to really get up close and personal. Now, as far as the rest of our army, we've gone with 3 units of Fellbats. Since we are playing against Greenskins, we can expect things like the Goblin Firing Line, the Mangy Marauders, or any kind of Goblin Wolf Riders in the background, even Forest Riders. So having these Fellbats allows you to kind of at least lock them down or get them away from the harassment roles they would typically play in this kind of scenario. As you can see here, our Fellbats are already making their way over to these Goblin Wolf Riders. A nice little harassment unit here to really kind of probe our army. Now, we don't have a lot of harassment to deal with, which is very, very nice. Usually, vampire counts can struggle with that. They can do a little bit of damage to some of the larger targets, or at least some of the side infantry units. Now, for our Greenskin army, we have a pretty good one. It's 2 units of Black Orcs and 2 units of Orc Boys. The Orc Boys are going to be very strong against a zombie or a skeleton front line. They'll trade very well into it. The Black Orcs are, again, going to be very strong against a majority of the vampire count front line. The only thing that can really counter them very heavily is, of course, the use of Great Guard with great weapons. These guys are armored. They're going to be dealing tons of AP damage. They themselves have 110 armor. They are the biggest, baddest, oldest, strongest orcs in the army from a lore perspective and from a Total War Warhammer perspective. Now, we also have some Savage Orc Auror Boys, which are a really good choice here. So the reason he went with Savage Orc Auror Boys and the Rusty Heirs, you never go wrong with these guys, but the Savage Orc Auror Boys have a melee attack of 32 and a great weapon strength of 38. So if I were to summon any skeletons onto these guys, they can actually beat their way out through the opposition. They've got frenzy. They're in it to win it with those. You can see the archers already kicking off across the way into our Fellbats as the Fellbats move in on the Rusty Heirs. The Rusty Heirs, they do have the ability to minus 32 armor. So they're very, very, very dangerous against, say, stuff like Terrorgeists, larger lords that you can take out of the air quite quickly. And he went with the Wurzog as his lord, backed up with 2 Savage Orc Big Guns there to really kind of help put some extra pressure. They have anti-large. They can take out any kind of Terrorgeist play, any kind of Blood Knight play. Actually, even a threat to these Vargulfs over here. Now, one big thing we always want to take a look at is the big and bad Arachnarok Queen. This is the Regiment of Renown Ragnarok spider here, so she can summon other little spiders to do her little bidding. Got a hadab of archers on her back that are shooting poison arrows. She herself does poison melee attacks with her AP damage as well, so there's a lot to be considered with this army, guys. Let's kind of see how things play out. Getting our Vargulfs out of the way. We don't want those Rusty Heirs to get any kind of really free shots onto them, but mainly try to get this this flanking charge onto this Arachnarok Queen, trying to shut her down quickly. You have the line connecting here. Orcs, while kicking off across the way, you have skeletons jumping into Black Orcs, which is not a great target, but really you can see here, these Graveguard with great weapons are going to make short work. We got a summon coming off across the back line, bringing some more Graveguard into this fight. Free open range. You have the Fellbats jumping onto these Savage Orc Big Guns, and really the fight has gone underway here, guys. So you can see that we are in a pretty good engagement. We've used our Skeleton Spearmen to plug up these Black Orcs so they can't really wrap around behind the rest of our Graveguard. We've got our Claw of Nagash engaged, helping to regenerate these Graveguard. We've got, where is he? Aha! Helman Gorst engaged. Now, the Arachnarok Spider, it does AP damage. And tons of damage here into that whole entire unit of Graveguard, but that really is wasted on them because it does more damage to those larger entity units like a unit of Cav. As you can see, they waded through that shot with almost no damage done. So huge bonus there. That was a pretty good pick off for us because it allowed us to really kind of stay in the fight, not lose our front line against Black Orcs, which is a very, very hard target you don't want to lose. Now, the Arachnarok Queen is getting just focused down by the Vargulfs. The one Vargulf is getting tangled up by the Spider Hatchlings that the Vargulf Queen, the Spider Queen has pooped out so willingly. And we have our Graveguard getting to the back line with those Savage Orc Auror Boys. Now, the Savage Orc Auror Boys are not going to be as strong. Effigy of the Get, and this is one of the strongest things with Wurzog, is a full lockdown here on, God, not the Arachnarok Queen, the Claw of Nagash. It's going to take some damage here at the same time, so it's in a pretty bad position. We have a nice reinforcement of Graveguard here. Both the Vargulfs coming over to that Arachnarok Queen, really just to deliver the business. Now, our Banshee is over here. We were talking about the Banshee's tanking capabilities against Black Orcs. You can see that she's just kind of hanging out here, doing some heavy damage to these Black Orcs, kind of dishing out the pain all across the board. And this is a really strong benefit of them, right? Using that Banshee to just kind of soak up all that damage, because they're not going to be able to do much. Vargulf's just getting beat upon by the Vargulfs like an angry ape. Look at those things, dude. Let's just zoom out here so we get you guys a full view of the battlefield. Slow it down a little bit. So our Graveguard have beat off. They definitely beat off those Orc Boys. And now they're coming back to wrap around on these Black Orcs. We have a second summon of Graveguard here that were just summoned up, ready to push into these Savage Orc Big Guns. Those Big Guns are actually in a pretty precarious situation. They could easily kill the Vargulfs if they were able to focus on them, but they are being absorbed by those Graveguard. You've got the Claw of Nagash in combat with Wurzog. So all across the board, we're in a really good position here. There you go. Shattered. Charging off the board. Wurzog. You better pay your rent money, motherfucker. Coming here, just bang the Prophet shields like a drum. Both these Vargulfs. Boom, boom. Just delivering the noise here. Look at this action going on. These savage orcs are just having a field day, but to not much avail here. Their anti-large is completely wasted. Vargul's chasing their prey. Got more Graveguard that are now freed up. The summoned ones are free. These ones are free, which are also summoned. Gosh, pushing through. You have the normal Stearnsmen coming up here, looking to reinforce their bros. Where's the Gorstipu? See, you can still see that Banshee is pretty much tanking that whole thing with those spearmen. GHORST is over here helping out these black orcs, keeping these spearmen and these actually these are the Stearnsmen alive, keeping it up and running here. That's some archery play back into things. You got to be a little careful here. Unfortunately, let these guys kind of chase off all willy-nilly. Gotta kind of try and keep them high and tight. But oh, and a last-minute charge here by some big uns. These are the Broken Tusk mob. They just have a better stat profile than your typical Orc Boy big uns, but they do have AP, they do have anti-large. So this is actually a very good charge for them. They could do quite a bit of damage to these Varguls, but I think this might be at a situation where it's a little too late. I mean, they're going to get wrapped up here pretty heavily. Ooh, a second wall kicking off here, allowing for some extra damage kicking off. 24% speed increase, 18% charge bonus increase, 26% bonus to melee attack. Things are going off in the land of GHORST and Wurzog over here. Wurzog just barely kind of inching back into this, trying to get some additional damage into things, trying to shut down this Claw of Nagash as fast as possible. These Black Orcs have now completely fled away. They are now terror routed. And there it is. Army losses kicking in, shatterings going all over the place. And the GHORST has won the day, guys. As you can see, Bubba Bricks, thank you very much for joining us here on this little fight. But Black Orcs did tons of damage, 103, 89 kills. A lot of that was against Spearmen, so that did work out pretty well in my advantage. You can see that 95, 78, and a piddly 26 kills for these Graveguard. But kills nonetheless. And the Varguls were really the VIPs of this fight, going in, shutting down that Ragnarok Queen, shutting down Wurzog as best they can. Wurzog did do plenty of damage, but with both the Varguls beating on them as soon as they were able to take out that Ragnarok Queen, allowed for some really good play there. We got a lot of Invocation and Hex off across our line, but especially on the Claw of Nagash, which was able to keep it in the fight for a lot longer. But overall, a really fun, enjoyable fight here, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one here today. As always, don't forget to subscribe and comment below. Let's jump on over into our next one. And nothing really says double feature more than Throg the Unclean here, right? Take a look at that big badass. So, this is Norsca versus the Lizardmen. I am at the helm of Throg himself, the Hammer Master himself. Look at that giant-ass troll lumbering about. Now, we went with a bit different of a play style here. I'm used to going with a lot of Berserkers, a lot of Marauders, kind of a lighter front line. Instead, we went with a lot of Marauder champions. Now, these guys are actually very strong against Lizardmen. They are quite armored, so they have 80 armor, and so you can field a lot of them at a very small cost to you. I think it's about 1,000 points per, with their pretty great melee attack, pretty great melee weapon strength of 39. These guys are really in it to win it because you can have, what do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is just 5. Total of Marauder champions as a really great anchor against Lizardmen. The only thing that can really contend with these guys are Temple Guard. So unless our opponent has gone with a heavy Temple Guard build, these guys are going to be really strong against your typical Saurus. Most the Marauder, the standard edition Marauders would just get beat out pretty quickly. Now we have Marauder Hunter Javelins that are reinforcing right behind them, and then right behind them as well, Famir Great Warriors. Famir Warriors with great weapons here. Now these guys are of course going to give us that really great ability to sunder armor. Boom, boom. Minus 30. They have magic attacks. They have anti-large, and they have their really great AP damage. This would be great against any kind of big dinosaurs, any of the large Jurassic World armaments that the Lizardmen can bring against us. With Throg himself, always a great addition to any kind of army with large creatures. But really the big thing here is our Famir Balefiend with fire. It's not really a big thing at all. I just really like the Famir. I think they're really awesome. Take a look at that. One single piercing eye. That hand that just spells doom. Now we went with Flaming Sword of Ruin, Cascade Fire Cloak, and for shits and giggles, Firestorm. Boom. Or Flamestorm, sorry. Now that's going to be able to just do some general damage, but really the big things here are Flaming Sword of Ruin and Cascading Fire Cloak. That's going to get a lot of damage out with the increase to weapon weapon strength, the increased 2 AP damage, and Cascading Fire Cloak is going to add quite a bit of defense. Now, we also went with some Norscan Ice Wolves because these guys are almost a must, I would say, for really harassing. I bring almost 1, if not 2 packs in every single one of my Norsca builds. Now, our opponent went with 3 units of just Chameleon Skinks. Now they're over here just kind of harassing. We have our first initial charge of those wolves right into those skinks. They're going to eat through those guys so quickly. What's for supper? I can promise you it's little tiny lizards that change color on your plate. Oh, yes. Feast, my little pretties. And we have Saurus Scar Veteran here. Now, one thing to keep in mind with these Norscan Ice Wolves is they do frostbite damage. That's kind of scary. You want to be a little wary of that because you can see that we're about to catch this Saurus Scar Veteran in a pretty dangerous trap. I mean, those javelins are going to do a ton of damage to them if they make good contact. Now, the majority of their line is Saurus Warriors, Saurus Cohorts over there, or sorry, Skink Cohorts over there and there, more right here, and more Saurus Warriors back there, there, and there. Oh, yes. Look at that. I didn't realize I turned camera shake on, but there it is. That just going hog wild across the line. See Throg here leading the next champions up. Look at that, yes. Charge into him. Oh, man, that was so sick. Got Croc Guard going crazy. Yes. Okay, let's back up here, get you guys a better shot of everything. That's not Croc Guard, that's 2 Scar Veterans. Now, he does have a Slann Mage Priest, or a High Mage Priest, so you can expect some stuff that would lock down flying, Arcane and Forging. You can also expect some healing out of him. Now, what we're seeing here is this Scar Veteran is already in a world of hurt. These Marauder Hunters with Javelins are focusing on them. You've got Throg focusing on them. You've got Familiar Great Weapons focusing on them. You've got Flaming Sword of Ruin casted on him, so there's increased 2 weapon damage. I mean, you're just having so much damage being outpoured into this Saurus Scar Veteran that he is not in a good place right now. The rest of the line has made contact pretty effectively. You know, like I was saying, Saurus Warriors against Marauder Champions, they're going to hold the line. I'm totally fine with that. Again, a good contact here. Good contact here. And good contact here. So let's kind of see how this plays out, huh? Now, keeping those javelins at range, they were pretty close. We had to pull them back a little bit, but we can get some good trades here. Getting those Norscan Ice Wolves to hunt that guy down. Just keep him there. He has a chance. Oh, Banishment ripping through those Marauder Hunters with javelins. Ooh, 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 and a really good turn of events. You know, you can never really say where Banishment's going to go, and in this case, it worked out really well for my opponent, and it kind of like meandered through a little bit of my champions and back. Now, huge point here, guys. Always make sure you have an inexpensive unit like a Norscan Ice Wolves chasing off an expensive unit like a Saurus Scar Veteran. This guy's going to chase all the way down to the end of the board if these guys don't kill him first, making it so that it guarantees it goes off. Oh, and unfortunately, I'm sorry, we missed this Flamestorm, which actually went more in my units than anything. Maybe so missing that Flamestorm was a little deliberate. It's like I've known. It's like I played this battle and I knew what I was doing. But as you can see here, the other Saurus Scar Veteran is already down and out for the count. He's fleeing off over there. Starting to come back just a little bit, though. And that Premier Balefiend in there. There's still quite a bit of Javelin play that's going on. We're getting our Javelins onto the Slann Mage Priest. Going crazy. Now, keep in mind with these Marauder Javelins, they are anti-large. So if there's anything that's going to do a lot of damage to them, it is those guys. Got the Familiar charging across over here. Ooh, boom. Boom. Now these Familiar are going to help anchor the line better for Marauder Champions, help break these guys up a little bit. But those Javelins now have a new target. Even though Cold Blood was able to return a lot of the health here for the Saurus Scar Veteran, those Javelins have so much range on this guy that they're going to be able to do a ton of damage fast. And with Throg coming in here to show the Slann Mage Priest what it's like to be a troll, it's bad news for this fat, oversized lizard. Boom! Getting some Castic Ooze all over the place. Flaming Sword of Ruin. Yes, yes, yes. There it is. Now these Familiar are going to be able to sunder the armor, drop this guy's armor significantly. Those Javelins are going to do even more damage. Premier Balefiend in there sundering it as well. Saurus Scar Veteran is not going to have a good day. Boom, and there it is. There he is. Down goes the T-Rex. Let's actually slow down, take a look here. little cast here to try and help out with some magic resist. Not going to be too huge at this pivotal moment, but you can see here, guys, these units of Saurus Warriors are in really bad shape. Skin Cohort's in bad shape. These Famir are still kind of reinforcing them and help clobbering things apart, but you've got plenty of Saurus Warriors here to worry about because our champions have not won that engagement just yet, but over here we're doing quite well. Wreck 'em! That Mage Priest ain't looking too happy. I wouldn't be too happy if I had a giant-ass Throg behind me. This is just Famir, one-eyed, disgusting. Look at the tails in these guys. If you guys thought GHORST was... Oh, a little Apotheosis kicking in here. If you thought GHORST was disgusting, you know. I mean, like, look at this thing. When's the last time that was really washed, right? God. Troll balls are the worst balls. Alright, we're getting some... retreating. I almost wanted to say rallying from these Skin Cohorts. A little retreating on my part as well, but I think this is a pretty foregone conclusion as our Ice Wolves come back into the fight, locking down these Chameleon Skinks, putting the World of Hurt on this Slann Mage Priest, and things are that's all she wrote here for the Lizardmen. That's a pretty foregone conclusion. A Pyrrhic victory, but a victory nonetheless. Now, take a look at this line, right? Like I was saying, Marauder champions really do trade well. I mean, this was almost a 1-to-1 ratio as far as Marauder champion to Saurus Warrior. I mean, there was obviously one more up on him. But 74, 83, 54, 59, 25 versus 72, 45, 30, 53, 15. They were trading pretty much on a 1-to-1 ratio. And I'm totally cool with that. I can take that. You're locking down those units. You're using your big, strong, heavy-hitting units like your Famir, like your Throg in this case, like your Javelins, to really focus on the things that matter the most in this army. I mean, if you take a look at these Saurus Scar veterans, I think that's what? Total of 3,000 points locked up, 4,000 points locked up between the two of them. They got 11 kills. 11 low-value kills, too. So... being able to focus them with those Javelins was pretty pivotal here and allowed us to really kind of clinch that win because that high Mage Priest, like, look at that. That guy, you could shovel so much, like, potato in that thing mouth that it still wouldn't matter. Even the Greenskins didn't really get a lot of really good play here. What I think that would have been best is if our opponent was able to take the Chameleon Skinks, keep them a little bit more in the flanks, and actually use them to shut down my Javelins. I would have been in real bad shape. Because my Javelins were the things that were my large anti-large here. My large anti-large? The biggest portion of my anti-large. I didn't have any Spearmen in this army whatsoever. So if I had lost them, I would have been in a world of hurt. But I hope you guys enjoyed this double feature here. It was a little bit different of an approach here. We haven't done one of these in a long time, so hopefully it's an enjoyable little experience here. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all that kind of action. Check out my Patreon. If you want to see more GHORST action or more Norsca action, any of that kind of action, just go ahead and let me know. Whatever armies you want me to play, holla at a playa, and I will make sure I can do what I can do. But as always, guys, have a good one, and take care.